Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun scroll saw project video, I have an amazing puzzle design we're going to be cutting out, and it is a Zodiac puzzle. I know this is a little bit different content for me, but it's still going to be really cool, I hope. Fox Chapel Publishing, the publishers behind the Scroll Saw and Woodworking and Crafts magazine, recently contacted me through social media and wanted to show some support to me for all I do for the Scroll Saw community, and I highly appreciate that, and I thank you guys so much. But they wanted to support me by sending me some books. They sent me a link to their catalog, and I picked out some books that I liked and thought would make cool project videos, and they have sent them to me. And the pattern today, as I said, is a Zodiac puzzle. Comes from the Zodiac Puzzles for Scroll Saw Woodworking and book by Judy and Dave Peterson. It's packed with beautiful patterns in it. I've already thumbed all the way through it and read some of the descriptions in it. There is step-by-step guides here if you've never cut out a puzzle on how to make it and finish it and everything. And since I am a Leo, I am Leo the Lion, born on July 23rd, so I just made the cut. We are going to be cutting out the lion here, and there is the pattern. I've already got it photocopied, and it's got the ideal grain direction that you need to when you're attaching the pattern to your material. And there is a picture of their finished project here, but really cool. The book is great. It's great content in it, and I'd highly recommend it. As I said, I've already got the pattern photocopied to the size that I want it, so we're going to attach it to our material. And now normally I would attach it with clear packing tape, and it would already be ready when we start the video here. For a pattern like this, with everything being outside cuts here, with just the one internal cut here on the tail, there's going to be a lot of pieces to keep up with, and for me to keep up with them, we're going to use spray adhesive to attach the pattern, or a glue stick to attach the pattern to the material here to keep up with everything. And I've got a little tub set to the side where we can drop all the pieces in when we're cutting everything out. So we'll attach that in a second. And one thing, when you are cutting out puzzles, you need to make sure that your scroll saw blade is perfectly aligned to your table, and the best way to do that, ironically, is to cut out a puzzle piece. Now I've got an offcut here of the same material we're going to attach the pattern to, and you can see I've already done some test cuts here, and the final one to make sure everything was perfectly lined up was kind of like a clover design here, but there you see it. And if you can bring the piece not only all the way forward like this, straight out of the piece, but if you can also back it all the way through, that indicates to you that your scroll saw is at a perfect 90 degrees. And since my scroll saw is already prepared, only thing that's left to do is attach the material so we can get started. And over here on the workbench, we're going to put some blue painter's tape down onto the material, and then we will use some spray adhesive to attach the pattern. And normally I use clear packing tape, but this is the logical option here. And I'll let the paper get tacky and then put it down and smooth it down flat. And I'll let that dry around a minute or so to make sure it bonds properly. And then I will drill one pilot hole for the internal cut of the tail, and we will begin scrolling. I am using number 5 ultra reverse scroll saw blades for this project, and for cutting out a puzzle you really need smaller blades to make sure the pieces properly will interlock, but this was the only blades I have in stock or on hand, so that is what we went with. And with this being 3/8 inch red oak, it's an extremely slow cut, and as always I am just taking my time and letting the blade do the work. Going around the lion's face here and his mouth, he appears to be roaring like a mighty lion. And this is something you don't normally do with scroll saw projects. You do not do the final outside cut here first on a lot of projects. This is usually the final cut, but with a puzzle it is a different process, and I'm happy to document how to make one here on the channel. And now I will do what veining needs to be done on it, where we're simply putting the blade in and backing it out to create a beautiful line of detail. And now we will begin cutting out each individual piece. And you see I have a little plastic bin there beside the scroll saw to lay all the pieces in. Just good to keep track of everything. And I kind of hesitate every once in a while because I'm trying to find my best approach to make sure all the cut lines flow. But again, I'm just taking my time and letting the blade do the work. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also follow me over on Instagram at Artisan Pirate. I'd really appreciate the support. And I also want to thank Fox Chapel Publishing for supporting me by sending me the books that the pattern came out of. I hope I'm doing this project justice. Of Mighty Leo the Lion. Now the pieces do get very small as you get toward the end, but I am comfortable holding the pieces as you see here. And I believe we are cutting out the final piece. And now we can head back to the workbench and peel all of the pattern off, and the painter's tape really helps with it, just being able to peel off like a post-it note. And then instead of heading to the palm sander, I will take 100 grit sandpaper and a hand sander and sand all the pieces front and back and lay them here and assemble Leo for the first time. And I did hand sanding instead of power sanding just because I did not want none of the pieces to break. Red oak can be a brittle material to work with, and hand sanding was the logical option here. I had a lot of fun cutting out this project and doing a little bit of a different project than I normally do. And once all the pieces are done, I will take him apart again and I will be ready to clear coat him with a few coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss. This is the only finish I have in the workshop. The book does recommend a Danish oil, but I went with my Rust-Oleum clear gloss. And it was back to the workbench, and I closed the book because I wanted to assemble him on my own without a guideline. But once he was assembled again, the project was complete. I hope you all have liked this video. And here we have the completed Leo the Lion Zodiac puzzle, cut out completely on the scroll saw out of some beautiful 3/8 inch thick red oak material, and he finished up nicely. Thank you, Judy and Dave Peterson, for an amazing pattern from your pattern book of Zodiac puzzles for scroll saw woodworking. Speaking of the book, also thank you and major thanks for Fox Chapel Publishing for reaching out and wanting to support me and my woodworking journey over here on the YouTube platform. They sent me this book as well as a few others, and I'm so happy to do this video for you guys, and I hope you like how he turned out. You can easily tell that this is a lion with the mane here, the long tail, and it looks like he is on the prowl. And because the material is so thick, being 3/8 inch thick, he can easily freestand on a counter or desktop and not need no supports to help him stand up. But really, really cool. And with the thickness of the wood, and because it's red oak, it took me around 35 minutes to scroll everything out. But as I always say, I took my time and let the blade do the work. And because I let the blade do the work, there is no burn marks in any of the puzzle pieces or interlocking sections of the puzzle. Speaking of the interlocking sections, you can see mine are kind of loose because I use my standard number 5 ultra reverse tooth blade, and that is a thicker blade than is required for these puzzles. If you're doing them out of a little bit thinner wood and you want them to lay down, the authors suggest using a number 2 or 3 blade, and I don't have none of those on hand, and that's why the puzzle pieces are kind of wiggly here. But as you can see, he is still very tightly held together, and there's no worry of pieces just falling out randomly. But really, really cool. Also, for finishing, I did something differently than the authors did. They suggest using a Danish oil finish, which of course would be proper for this, and it would get down into all the interlocking pieces of the puzzle and really saturate everything and make it food safe and also safer for younger hands. I don't have none of that on hand because I don't normally do a project like this. But if I do more of these, I will of course go out and get some Danish oil and start using it in projects like this. I just use my standard Rust-Oleum clear gloss, and it does do its job of protecting the piece, giving it a nice glossy finish, and also making the grain pop. But really, really cool. I had a lot of fun on this project, and the waste material here reminds me of the way some other people make puzzles. I haven't thrown this in the scrap bin yet, but you could cut this to a uniform size. Of course, this was just a piece of scrap laying around, and cut this out first like I done in the video, but then set this aside, do your puzzle, but then come back and add a backer board to this to where Leo could be laid down in here, and then you could decorate it with maybe the word Leo or the Zodiac you're cutting out. So just an option, and just one of the very versatile ways a scroll saw can be used and the way patterns can be used. But one more look at him here, and then I'm going to pick up the book one more time and show you guys something in the book that I also didn't do that the authors did on all of theirs. But really, really cool. I'm going to turn back to the Leo Zodiac here on page 31, and you can see in the pattern that I photocopied there was extra pilot holes that you could drill. And over here on their finished project, you can see that they have inserted wires, and little jewels here to represent the Leo celestial side of everything, like up in space, the stars and all. So that's just an option. I might do more of these projects. I don't know if you guys would like to see me do more. I'd love to do the Chinese dragon one because I am a Leo born in the year of the dragon. I am always rocking my nice dragon bracelet there. But I had a lot of fun on this project, and I hope you guys learned something on this project. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, and also follow me over on Instagram at Artisan Pirate. Links to all my social medias as well as ways to contact me will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one. And remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.